If it's happening in New York, New Jersey, or Long Island, hear about it with Joe Piscopo. Mornings, 6 to 10 on AM 970. The Answer.
Live from the smartwaytobuy.com studios.
42 minutes after 8 o'clock, this is the Piscopo in the Morning Show. We are now doing a reenactment of the Joey Reynolds Show by trying to figure out how many people we can fit into the studio at one time.
This is like a board meeting. And these guys look very serious. You know, I don't want to. Money, with no money. Yeah, plywood instead of the nice big maple wood conference table. No, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Mike. It's good to see you. Yeah. Now, I thought this would be a fun exercise for you to see if you could do the entire 3 hours of your program this morning without mentioning the words Russia or Mueller.
I could probably do it because both of them make my eyes glaze over.
I am Mullered out.
But I'm intrigued, and I want to pick up with the discussion you were having before you went into the bottom of the hour break about this decision by these big tech companies to ban Alex Jones. It's a very interesting dynamic.
Well, you're next for fat shaming Kelly Clarkson. They're going to ban you from Facebook.
Well, that was years ago. But you know something, and I apologize profusely. But you know, at the end of the day, the internet was supposed to be the Wild West. This was where everything goes, you know, and look at the origins of WikiLeaks, and then of course more mainstream Wikipedia. There aren't supposed to be any rules because everybody's supposed to be able to contribute, and nothing is supposed to be regulated. This is the first time. You think about this, Frank. Jones has over 2 million YouTube subscribers. Now that's monetized, right? Now I don't exactly know how. Because I certainly don't have.
You sell ads on that.
And when you get up to $2 million, that is big bucks. So they might shut them down. They might put them out of business.
I don't see how I mean they're not stopping at Alex Jones. And by the same token, you mentioned Wikipedia. Try and look up the Wikipedia entry for the newest member of the New York Times editorial board member, Sarah Zhang. What's the one thing we all know about Sarah Zhang?
And I'll bet that's not in there.
That is nowhere.
It's fascinating.
In her Wikipedia
Well, this
entry.
is just it. And the reasons given for banning Jones and InfoWars was ostensibly the lack of respect for other people and other points of view. My gosh, you look at the way Trump supporters are treated on these platforms and the way conservatives are treated. Come on. I mean, Hitler and Nazi and the horrific things that are alleged and said about people with differing points of view. Again, I go back to the starting point. Internet's supposed to be the Wild West, baby. You put it out there. You let the viewers decide. So this is a game changer, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I predict there'll be some heavy litigation. I mean, Alex Jones has to. I mean, I can't imagine they won't go down without a fight. And they're going to litigate this, and it'll be interesting to see even these big tech companies how they're going to defend deciding that because mainstream media pushed it, because this was all a product of the media pushing these platforms. CNN went after these platforms, saying, "How can you?" I mean, they're taking credit for it. Boy, for a guy who peddles in a lot of conspiracies, this is like the pipe dream for conspiracy theories.
Let me ask you, though, just the other side of the argument, and I certainly think it's terrible that they're being banned, but Facebook is a private company. YouTube's a private company, right? No, we're a radio station. We're a private company. If we want to decide, Al long ago banned E. Frank from Astoria from calling in. He's prohibited, right? So why can't these companies, just like we might ban a caller who we don't like having what they say because they're spewing anti-Semitic stuff, why can't these tech companies do what they want with their own private company?
It's a solid argument. It's the linear equivalent of saying, why doesn't the Wall Street Journal guarantee Alex Jones an op-ed? Because editorial content says we're not going to do that. So in a way, they're regulating their own editorial content. But again, what blows my mind is this has never happened in the online world. They've never done this before. There's never been online restricting before. There's always been editorial content in the mainstream media world, in newspapers and radio, TV. Not social media, not the internet. Anything goes. If you don't like somebody attacking you, you can block them. You can mute them. You can try to ignore them. But it's there. And who regulates them? Well, now we see.
What's coming up on the show
today? I think we're going to be all over this. I also want to follow up on a real scary scene in Philadelphia. 2 young millennial conservatives chased out of a restaurant, water dumped on one of their heads, by an Antifa group of protesters in Philly, the city of brotherly love. Some scary stuff going on, Frank. And now liberals are even suggesting it was all staged.
It's funny. During the Occupy Wall Street protest, John Tabacco here did the resist the occupation.
I remember.
And he encountered these occupiers. One of them said to him one time, he's always well-dressed in these $5,000 suits.
Natty suits.
Yeah,
He looks very dapper.
One of these occupiers said to him one time, it's a nice suit there. It'd be a shame if something happened to it. Basically threatening, and if it was, imagine if things were the other way around, where either in Philadelphia or next door in Zuccotti Park, if he had been threatening to do harm to the wardrobe of the occupier.
Well, John, what happens if somebody dumps a glass of water on your head and all over your suit? What are you doing? How are you going to react?
That's probably not for radio.
No, but true, right? I mean, most people, Al, what would you do?
Not what you expect.
I mean, now you got. I mean, really, what does a normal person? How do you
be
react?
Angry, and you'd be violent,
and you'd probably punch him in the mouth,
right?
And then, of course, it would become look at the angry conservative,
right?
Look at the violent conservative,
or you'd get arrested and sued,
right? Because water isn't as bad as a punch in the mouth. Is spitting in your face as bad as a punch in the mouth? How far is this going to go? And these guys, they're egging them on. I got to give this Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens credit, because they kept their cool. They had the cameras rolling the whole time. And listen, we got a big midterm election. We got primary day today. We're going to preview that today on the Mike Gallagher Show. But this is the choice. These are not exactly Republicans who are behaving this way in public.
Mike, just to follow up on that, my brother and I were hosting a little mini-series for Newsmax TV called The Road to the Inauguration, where we followed Donald Trump between election and inauguration. And we covered, for Newsmax, the deplorable.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, that's
and
right.
the Antifa were outside, and they saw us coming out in the tuxedos with the cameras, so they just assumed we were deplorables.
Right.
And this is the truth, because, unfortunately, it was my brother, but they were throwing water bottles full of urine at us and the cops.
Nice people.
My goodness.
This is humanity.
These are nice
as
people.
we know.
Mike, we'll be listening. Thank you very much,
Have a great one, guys. Keep it up, guys. Continue the board meeting.
Thank you again for lunch on Friday.
Everybody knows this guy. No, everybody knows he can do a radio show. Joe Piscopo. Mornings, 6 to 10 on AM 970. The Answer.